Welcome with us, folks. Tonight we take a simple chart and transform it into a strong entry plan and exit strategy. Stick around. All right, Netflix reported yesterday with good results. The downside on membership wasn't as bad as expected. Numbers are good. Guidance was good. It ended up being higher after earnings, which is good, but that's not the focus. What we want to see is this. We had a chart, and follow me here. We had a chart where 2 days ago, it went up to a certain point. Here, came back down. On the next day, it came up to a certain point that if you look at it, and follow me here, if you look at it, this line is pretty much the same line there. So basically, we find buyers up to this level, and we didn't really find buyers any higher than that line. You guys all agree with me right here, right? We call this resistance. Pretty simple. Now, if you were a buyer, and let's say you bought any point under this level or anywhere else, let's focus on something here. Let's zoom in a little bit. You bought here or anywhere else, but you bought, you're green up to a certain point. And if you look, it's trying to sell off a little bit, trying, but every time there's a line that we find support from about 2 o'clock until the end of day. So basically it was boring until we had this big push for earnings, right? You guys all see this. So back to the trader's psychology. See how it tried to get down, but it didn't. So basically everyone holding a bag at this level is extremely happy. Now that we have good news, when or what do you think it would take for these guys to actually decide to sell? Right? It's way up there. And if it starts to come down, do you think these guys will ever sell unless we get under this line? I don't think so. So if after earnings, let's zoom out a little bit here. If after earnings we have a situation where we pop up and then at the open it starts coming down, what I want to show you is where we can find support on the way down. Now this was a $25 move to the upside, more or less. It opened a little less than that, but still, this sell-off, we find a sell-off up until a certain point. So if you zoom out again, zoom out again here, where do you think we will find support, right? Buyers were ready to buy up until this point, but final support looks like this area. We might have dipped a little under here, but that's final support. But you all see that we are within a range here. So this creates a lot of support, and in my opinion, anyone who would have liked to get out of the play before earnings had a lot of chance between 2 o'clock, even before that, until earnings. So in my opinion, whoever stayed there is happy to be there after, when we're higher. I'm sure you guys all agree with me here. Now, I want to show you something. I don't want to spoil anything here. Okay, let's get to the gate. We are opening higher. This is the open. As soon as it opened,
right? It started selling off. Then another candle, and then it started selling off a little more. Now you have to think, if you wanted to get into a play after earnings, now I'm showing you Netflix, but the same thing happened last week on TSN. You will often see this happening after earnings when there's a little bit of a sell-off. It comes down to a certain point. And what I want to draw attention on is this. If you only look at the open, it's very hard to see or to tell when the entry is a good point. Have to zoom out a little bit. What I like to look for is this. Support, pre-market support, right? If you look at pre-market support, let's draw a line here together. Pre-market support, this area here. You guys all see this? Right? Oh, we broke under. So basically we were above, broke under. Now it becomes resistance and we came down lower. So basically we're lower than that support. So when's the next support? Well, this is where the magic comes in. Let me draw you a line where we had this, put the line here, and I'll put that exactly at, I think it was 210, more or less. Let me put that very close to that. 210 is the level. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding, very close to that, is the level. That's hard to see here because of that long width. Let's get rid of it. Okay. See how it was trying to get under. We're very close to that. 208, 210. This is the support from when I said 2 o'clock until they reported. Now, if you see and you think that these guys would have sold, they had a lot of chance, they had their chance to sell before earnings. Now that they reported good earnings, do you think they're going to sell? I don't think so. And look at what happened. Now, if you're looking for a proper entry, let's do this together. All right. See what happened? There was a first attempt on coming down. It came down very close to it, up, and bang, right on it. Now, you know that these guys are pretty strong. They would have sold yesterday when they had a chance. They didn't. Do you think they're going to sell now? Well, if we start dropping under, well, now that comes trouble, and this is where I showed you the second line. So if you were to enter here thinking you're at the right place, you always have the second line as a backup for probably a move to the upside. But you all see now, if we zoom out a little bit, you'll see that this line was also the old support, old resistance. Here, you will all often see me do this in my chart, and now it becomes support on the morning. Okay, you covered the entry point, which is the old support and new resistance, right? This was, old support and new support. Same place here. You got the entry point. Before you enter, you need to know, where am I going? Well, you saw that buyers came all the way up to there. There was this support line that became resistance. Now, you know that, oh, it's just like magic, right? All this, you bounce on this. Are you going to find a lot of new buyers when pre-market were, I don't know if you trade a lot. I know Carry trades pre-market, but the majority of the volume, you can see that here, is trading during normal hours, trading hours. There is a little bit of after hours volume, but mainly the volume is during market hours. So what I tend to think is
these guys know what they're doing. So if you think that we're going to cross extremely quickly what the people that really know what they're doing, well, we need a lot of momentum for that. Now, the occasion you will see that we cross the pre-market support or resistance is when we open, let's say we would have opened higher and bounce on that support and then move up, cross the pre-market high and then move higher. That's a situation where that volume comes in, the intraday volume, and then we beat that old resistance. But when we're not through there, this area is usually a very good target, and see, that's a very good target that you should have seen. So basically, you have your entry point from old support and exit point from resistance. All this from a chart that looked like this before you started playing it. So yeah, you need to see these levels. You don't have to have a lot of fancy things. You can draw on your chart simple levels like this. You can have alerts. See, even this one here, see, they're all lining up. So I want you to be able to do this. This is Netflix after earnings, lots of volume, easy to point out. Do this with your favorite ticker. Do this often, put alerts, and I'm sure you'll be successful. Stick around, you have lots more coming. Have a good one, folks.